Thank you. I'm Mr. Lehner, and welcome back to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza. And today, we're supporting the Chicago Blackhawks. And today, we're also going to take a look at putting some of the operations we've talked about through this entire investigation together in some different types of problems. Now, the one reminder I want to tell you, we've been talking a lot about using calculators and using your smartphones in different situations if you need them. There's also tricks inside the classroom, remember, with dealing with percents, analyzing the relationships between 10%, 5%, 20%, so that sometimes you're not going to need to use that calculator as we move forward. So just a reminder, think about that math knowledge you have in your brain so that as you become experts in these areas, you really won't need to rely on that phone or calculator to help you out in a lot of these situations. But if you still need it for right now, that's okay. Let's take a look at an example problem. It says a box of macaroni and cheese says that it makes 25% more than a regular box. If a regular box makes 3 cups, how many cups will this box make? So again, imagine we're going shopping. Again, we're working with food. So you go and you see 2 macaroni boxes. Now, we're not even analyzing the price or anything right now, which is another story you could do there, or another problem you could do there. But you want to say, it says it makes 25% more. Well, how much more am I going to get out of that box than the regular box? So here's a perfect example. I talked about being able to use your knowledge with percents here. If original box makes 3 cups, well, I know 3 as a decimal is 3.0. Now when thinking about 10% of 3, what would 10% of 3 be? Now, we've talked about those long strips in class. We've also talked about how we talked about moving the decimal, which is not the best way to phrase that. But if I were to find 10% of 3 cups, I could slide that decimal over, like a lot of you like to say. I can slide it over, and that's going to give me 0.30 or 30 hundredths. Well, if that was 10%, if 10% is 30 hundredths or 0.30, well then 20% is going to be double because it's double of 10%. So double 0.30, it becomes 0.60. And then I'd still have 5% more to add on. Well, what's half of the 10%? Well, if 10% was 0.30 or 30 hundredths, 15 hundredths would be 5%. So there's a lot of mental math going on here. So let's try that again. 10% was 30 hundredths, 20% was 60 hundredths, and I said the other 5% was 15 hundredths, so if I add that to the 60 hundredths, I should get 75 hundredths, which is 25%. Let's see if I'm correct. Double check it. So if I look, here's where if I use a calculator to check myself or my smartphone, 3 cups times the 25% is going to give me 0.75 cups. Therefore, 3 cups plus 0.75 or 75 hundredths cups equals 3 and 75 hundredths cups total. So this is what that new box up here would give me because it's giving me 25% more. So the next time you're in the grocery store, maybe you're helping your mom or dad or someone out shopping, and you go out, take a look, you'll see some of these boxes. They might tell you like 40% more, 30% more. They're trying to see or trying to show you how much more that they actually have in there. If you want to make your own problem, flip the box around. It will tell you how many servings it will give you, and you can use the servings on the side to figure out exactly how much more you're getting. And then if you really want to take it a step further, you can look and compare the prices. How much am I going to get, how much bang am I going to get for my buck with this box compared to this box? That's really putting all your math skills together. Or maybe you have a coupon or a discount for some, or it's buy one get one free or buy one get one half off. There's a lot of different things that come into play as you're shopping with these. So again, see, you're using your math skills all the time. Alright, your turn. Let's take a look at your problem. A box of cereal says that it has 40% more than a regular box. If a regular box has 6 servings, how much will this bigger box have? So again, now we're kind of focusing on cereal. Go ahead, take out your paper, pencil, any tools that you need. Go ahead, pause the video, and we'll see what you come up with. Okay, so the box of cereal says it has 40% more than a regular box. So if a regular box has 6 servings, I have to figure out how much bigger, or how much the bigger box will have. Well, I'm going to go back to my mental math strategies that we've talked about in class. So 40%, I'm going to work with 10%. Well, I know that if it originally it has 6 servings, I know that 10% is going to have 60 hundredths. servings. And I know that it is 40%, so I can actually either add that number 4 times, or I can multiply it by 4. So I know that 10% is going to be 60 hundredths, so I can multiply 4 times 0.60, and I'm going to end up with 2 and 40 hundredths. Or I can do 60 hundredths, plus another 60 hundredths is going to be 1.2 or 1 and 2 tenths. Plus another 60 hundredths is going to be 1 and 80 hundredths. Plus another 60 hundredths is going to be 2 and 40 hundredths. Just like we had stated before, or 2 and 4 tenths, which would be the same equivalent fraction. Again, I can double check this in the calculator. I can take my 6 servings times the 40%, which is going to give me 2.4 servings. Therefore, I can add the 6 servings plus 2.4 servings. It's going to equal 8.4 servings in that box. So in the bigger box, you're going to get almost 2.5 more servings out of that bigger box than you would the normal box. And again, if I had put prices up here, you'd be able to compare the prices as well. So again, when we talk about putting operations together, you can see I've used, we've talked about using addition, we've used multiplication. I have used fractions in part of my answers, or even thinking like percents with the fractions. So, taking 40% of 6 is the same thing as 4/10 of 6. So all these math tools that we've talked about throughout the year are starting, or I shouldn't say starting, but they're being used more and more often, and you can see how they're being related between one another. So as we continue to move on with math this school year, continue to think about fractions, percents, decimals. They're not going anywhere after this year. They're not going anywhere as you get into 7th and 8th grade or into high school and even further on. So, thank you for tuning in. We fixed that on the day. Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza. As always, we'll see you next time, and go Blackhawks.